After we spoke after the match on Tuesday, there was a really positive feel around the place. I assume that's carried on into today with the boys reporting back for training.
Yeah, it has. I think for us, we wanted just to put ourselves in a position where going into the game on Saturday we had the chance to try and top the group. We've done that. I just think that playing games of football always can be the best marker for the mood, for where your fitness levels are, for how you're operating, how you're working. And you know, again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that if you're winning, you're playing well. I know we drew the game within 90 minutes the other night, but if you're coming out in the positive side of games of football with good performances, then that really starts to breed confidence and it puts smiles on faces. I always talk about it being the best feeling coming into your work off a good result or a good performance. So I think it's so important that we realise how hard we have to work to get that, but also how it makes you feel once you have done. But we've done nothing, we've achieved nothing, we've done absolutely nothing other than the fact that I feel that there's a lot of people potentially seeing the hard work that's went in and starting to get a little bit excited about some of the players and how they're operating and how they're working. I think it was another exciting game of football on Tuesday. I think there were parts of the game that were played that supporters would want to pay money to come and see, and I feel that that's our job. If we can do that, then we can build a wee bit of excitement and we can start to really generate some good support. But I did say to you a couple of weeks ago that that's always on us. That's for us to do something, not to just blindly get that backing and that support. But yeah, I think it's fair to say that some people are still a little bit sore and a wee bit stiff after the game on Tuesday by what they put in, but nothing to the point where it's going to affect them moving into the game on Saturday.
We've referenced before kind of how close this group are, and especially the new boys who kind of arrived at the same time. I guess that kind of makes your job a wee bit easier in the sense of how together that this group are. Yeah,
listen, you're trying to bring in good players and you're trying to play good football, but I think most importantly you always have to build a unity within a dressing room, and you can't just magic that up and tell people a formula as to how that works. That's to do with characters, that's to do with personality, and it's to do with the bit that you've just asked me about there. If you can be successful, if you can win games, if you can work hard for each other, then it really starts to build a togetherness. A lot of the guys are kind of living out of each other's pockets, so to speak, which for me, again, when you come in and the times are hard and challenges are there in games of football, you'll start to go that extra yard for one another. So I always feel that that's driven by the players. We put a kind of framework in place for that, but that's always driven by the players.
Lewis Jamieson officially joining the club this morning. Tell us a bit about that deal.
Yeah, no, Lewis comes in and he's an attacking player that we really like. There'd been a conversation once we knew that it was a possibility that we could bring him to the football club. I think it was important that I was able to get a conversation with him, find out a little bit about him as a person, and just going back to the two questions there, Peter, he's a guy that we feel is going to fit in really, really well in the dressing room. He's a positive, bubbly, upbeat, really respectful type of guy. He's been well educated and well grounded through his academy football at St Mirren. He's obviously been to a few clubs now, and we feel as if he's somebody that has real quality. We think he's somebody that can play a couple of different roles in a couple of different formations. He can play wide, he can play central. We just feel that he's somebody that adds a bit of strength and depth. I think everyone will see that we're not loaded in one or two positions in the pitch, so it was always the plan and always the thought process to try and support what we've got. We're delighted with the guys that we've been able to bring in, and I think that Lewis is just another one that the supporters and the players will enjoy playing with, but the supporters will enjoy watching. And as I say, he's got a versatility that he can give us a few options in that forward area.
When he was here yesterday, you could kind of sense his excitement and how enthused he was by being here. It's just really positive to kind of get that back from a new signing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's something that we need to celebrate. You know, his agent was here yesterday. Lewis was here. We had some real good time together. But to see both their faces when they see the training facility, they see the football camp going on behind us. That for me is something that I was used to years ago, that when we bring players here, they see what we've got in terms of training pitches, indoor facilities, everything round about, and how vibrant the football club can be. And without saying too much, it's nice to see people's reaction when they see that. I had actually a conversation with Clyde's kitman and gave him a wee tour on Saturday, and a really nice fella that he was sort of blown away with what we have here. And my big thing's always that it's nice to look at, it's how we use it, it's what we do with it. And as I say, that's something to be celebrated here at the football club. It's definitely something to be utilised, and I don't know, because we maybe found ourselves in a bad spot and in some difficult times, that we kind of forget what we've got here to work with, and how we can grow by using that sort of training facility. Obviously nice when the sun's shining as well, but yeah, I think that Lewis is someone that's going to benefit from what we have here, and hopefully somebody that kicks on in his career at a really good age.
Our final group game in the campaign away at Airdrie on Saturday, just probably looking to kind of round off what's been a really positive campaign so far.
Yeah, I think we wanted to put ourselves here just now, Pete. I think we wanted to be in this position with a chance to, if we can win a game on Saturday, that we know we could top the group. That's going to be difficult. That's going to be a difficult game. It's going to be a real challenge for us, but it's one that we look forward to. I think operating how we have done since the very first day of pre-season, and where we now find ourselves 7 weeks later, it's another one that goes down as a good gauge and a good marker for where we are, to try and back up another performance. Possibly a little bit of fatigue coming in by what we put into the game on Tuesday, but for me, I don't think that becomes an excuse in any way, shape or form. I think the players will be ready for the game. And as I say, it's not just because we sit here just now. I'd said to yourself and several others that in-house we believed that we could put ourselves into a position to try and win the group, and we have to go and try and hopefully finish that off with our last game of the 4, and it just so happens it's going to be a real challenge against a team that's going to be in a league. So we'll attack it the same way we have done the other 3, and the same way that we have done in pre-season games, and we're definitely going to go with a vision and a thought process to try and be in the front foot and see if we can create as many chances as we have done in the 3 games we've played, which I think now totals somewhere around about 60 efforts at goal over the 3 games. We need to go and see if we can try and get that conversion rate up, and we need to go and try and see if we can win the game.
Perfect, Gaffer. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Pete.